PhD holders who blocked me. And I studied with very aggressive girls who are very hardworking. Okusula mu Pearl Hall. Points zo ze wafuna ku L level ziba zikweyimirira. Because Pearl Hall yali esuza ba scientists, engineers. That is Pearl Hall for you. Procurement girls. Bachelor of Science in biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics. Food scientists. Those are people who slept in the hall. Never engineers in the hall. Kati me am an engineer. Then teachers nga basoma science. Eyo hall, Pearl Hall, yali yaba scientists. Okusinga. If you're doing arts, oyina kubanga oli mu procurement. Those big accountants. Ngokola math. That was Pearl Hall of Residence. Nasula n'abawala balina power. Nga singa tasoma kaba kagwamu. But Miriam understood me because Miriam helped me to let go of certain things in my life. Nzenga wenyiganga sogera. Mchala wama yanyiganga na asirika. Miriam taught me to confront people. Nga wenyiga I would write of small notes to her. Kati my friends nga wenyiga I just get out. Because ngambuza they are just friends. After the university, will we even ever meet? But among the girls that has surprised me, her lifestyle has helped me get to that level of the bakungu I am. She's called Anne Aliguma. Mrs. Kiri from word. Anne is very humble. There are actually two. It's Anne Aliguma and buli mukwano gwange alina byanga seko. But Anne Aliguma and Christine Muwanguzi. When you meet these two ladies, they are very humble. They live a simple kind of lifestyle. Until you go to their homes, you're going to be blown away. The way they carry themselves, the way they love people is on another level. The level Mariam Namakula is at, to some other girls, abatachayogera n'abantu. Mariam works with the UN. She's gone through ranks. She came from Yasomesako, then again a DFCU, never DFCU, again mu UN. Ate nabanga lecturer at the same time. She's the lady behind Gislender. But she's very humble. She loves people in an amazing way. Like I have people who are humble. Ngomulinyako ne weyongerayo. That is Anne Aliguma. She's a married woman with 5 children. Buli omu abeera n'ekintu kye, but Anne awo mu kigambo being humble yatuwangula. I learned several things from all my friends. I love all my friends. There is Angela Nyonyintono Sevagala, Ketra Nakayenga, she's a married woman also. All my friends are married apart from mothers, and married apart from me, Vicky. Eranga batwasulanga mu room ne Rose. We are not yet married. Then Edio Diana Jondo. Kirit passed away. There is patience, like her name, she's like that. She's a patient woman. I learned something from all these ladies. Patience is a PhD holder. She's a doctor. She's called Dr. Patience. PhD holder. She did telecom engineering. I work with power. These are girls whose life, they don't flash their life just like that. Until God opens the door for you to enter in their lives, you're going to be shocked. Hope you're learning something from me and from your friends. I learned a lot from my friends. There are people who are humble. And when you open the inside like this, you'll be surprised what's inside. There is a lady called Carol. These are ladies who have power. They have money. Naye tebalinyirira abantu. They do their own things. She's a married woman. A mother, I think, of also 5. But for her, she's older than us. Namusangayo nga already yakola diploma. But when you meet us, you will not know. These are friends that have stood by me in an amazing way. God is going to send people in your life. I had to learn my friends for me to fit in. Because my friends cannot handle the kind of person I am. Unless if you pay attention. Very few people have been able to understand me. Those who fail to understand me, they ignored me. They blocked me. They don't want anything to do with me. When the season started. But when such a thing happens to you, what do? Those are people who have money and you will not know. They are very humble. Those are people who have traveled, and when they travel, they come to see me. There is a young lady called Angela. She came to see me, Nyonyintono. She told me where she was, and I met her. We walked around, took photos. I looked for my photo we took in DC. When I'm with them, it takes me back to the Pearl Hall of Residence. These guys have stayed humble. When I need help, I have ladies who have stood with me, especially Christine Mwanguzi. That is one person who has stood with me financially, emotionally. She's one person I've always run to. And she has not closed her door. She opens her door and I enter wide. I go there and cry. I found out that one of my relatives is related to them. One of Natimba Victoria was the 3rd child of Mwami Rwama, but the 2nd child of Mchala Rwama. So her children, Navisere and the late Navisere and late Moses, Banaba Bengo. Bengo stays in the UK. Victoria Natimba died in the UK, alone in the house. She was their mother. And Navisere and Moses are Bengo's children. They died. Navisere died last year. Moses died many years ago. And Navisere was related to the late Samson Mwanguzi, his mother's side, his maternal side. Then I found out that Bengo is related to Andrew Chisaka. And I was like, wow, I've moved with these guys and they've loved me so much. I did not know why. But as I moved on, I love knowing why about people. Marriage connects you to people. My life was connected, and God allowed me to meet these people through school when I don't know that I'm related to them in any way. But marriage is one door that connects you to the entire world. Some people are like, nino lugezigezi njogera nnyo neeyitaani. I kept quiet, and I'm like, when you understand the dynamics of family and of marriage, then we will talk. Because when you come in my family, let me help the girls. When you enter anyone's family, because for girls, you enter a man's home. A man brings back home. A girl is taken away. So as a girl, when you come into a man's family, please learn the dynamics of that family. Love everyone in that family for the sake of your children. When I saw girls that got married into the family I come from, when they were disrespecting us, I felt sorry for them. Because there are things you'll never take away. I told you, if Mubiru was not given a job by the late Luwalala, and if Mubiru did not love his friend Rubama because they were very tight, and if Rubama did not love his friend, his brother Chigozi that much, they would have never met the big family. So be careful out there. And kids did not know the truth. Parents, tell the children how you met your mother, their mother, how you met each other. It is very important. Because your kids are going to disrespect the only power they have, the only source of power. I am a blessing because I'm a source of great good to others. Genesis chapter 12. You think you're blessed until you become a source of great good to others. You're just lucky. I am the source of a blessing. In 2000, the Lord confirmed it. I just give you 1K like this. Just 1K, you need 1K. I just give you one word of advice. You do as it says, you fly. I just share your thing. Even if I do it once like this. I'll give you an example of the young lady called Akite Agnes. I've never met Akite. And the first time I saw Akite, like I paid attention, I was in the US. Ngali Kukumed house. When she was wearing like a blue dress. The day she talked about her legs. I laughed my head off. That is the day I got to know Akite. I'm believing and praying to the Lord that when I go back home, I'll meet Akite Agnes. I sent a message to court leader. And she blocked me on WhatsApp. I sent her a message about God and she blocked me. And I'm like, Agnes Akite yangamba tagaba private number ye nenseka nengwe ne musekerera. Celebrities, careful out there. I know it overwhelms when you call us your fans. Careful, because ababbi bangi. Naye omwo mubabbi omwo abantu bemutamanyi, because you don't pay attention to love people. Mwe muliwo kwagalibwa n'abantu sharinga bintu byammwe. But when you understand the dynamics of how it works. I just shared Akita's thing once, then shared it again. I don't think Akita is at the same level when Namusanga. I love playing. I share their things while playing. Because I don't want them to struggle. Katonda yangamba I am a blessing, a source of great good to others. That's why I stand in your things, nembayamba. Because some of you, yes, amagezi ogalina osomye, naye toyina capital. You need someone with a capital. You need someone with a base. I don't need to have a following for you to have a big base. I have Christ. Ate obeera ne Yesu ebirala oyagala ki? Katonda wange. naye nati temubitegeera kubanga temusoma bayibuli. Kati mbakolere kisina kyabakolera. Muli bangi gye bali, muli bangi mwasoma mwayatiikirira naye tolina gy'olaga. You need saba Katonda akuweereza akuwa abalina sikiiru. Some of you are very hard working and everything naye byagaana. Naye Katonda agenda kusinkanyayo omukyalo ogwo, omwami ogwo. I had things inside, but I needed to give birth. God connected me to a man in a village. Yajja mu conference e Kabowa. Pastor Victor James Rubwama. Nga nina ebiri munda naye nga tebisobola kuvaayo. Nga neetagayo omusajja oba omukyala alina something special. Nga Katonda yamulonda. Katonda bw'akola. Omanyi abasumba baagala nnyo okubeera eyo, nze namusabira. Banze bangi bansabidde, buli omu alina speciality ye mu area ye. They are all different. Yes, balina ekigambo musumba. Naye Katonda tebava mu lineages ezimu. They have different purposes. Ekigambo musumba is an umbrella, is an office. Naye munda omwo mulimu abasajja balina talents and gifts. But mulimu abasajja balina assignments nga bamu assignment nene okusinga ku ndala. Nga Katonda yamulonda nga ye assignment ye nene, ba evangelist bangi. Naye buli omu alina talent ye, alina wayita. Togenda kubeera abamu buzibu bwe mulina nga mutandika okukopperera nga di compete ebyo ebintu biba tutte mu competition zaabwerere. For what? Nze neewuunya abantu abakompininga ne Pastor Robert. Nze mbeewuunya. Temwategeera assignments ku bulamu bwammwe. Nze mbeewuunya. Nze simanyi na lwaki munyiiga mbu abantu badduse mu kanisa zammwe bagenze ewa Kayanja. You don't carry what he carries. Respect what you carry. Look up to God. Abantu bajja kujja. Ogwo omulimu si gugwo, temufuuka baayuto dda, temututama. Nze sisobola kwecomparinga ku muntu yenna. I cannot. What I carry, you don't carry. Nze ne waba onsinza ssente. Mukwano wa kaziraba oli wa ssente zo. Mukwano, nze abazadde bange banteerayo dda enkokoto. Foundation gye nina tosobola gimenya. Tata yali alina okulokoka n'alinnyako eryo kokoto y'abatajjajjabe n'agisoka n'agirinnyako wati. Eyo Katonda gy'asooka omuwa enkokoto ya taata we ne maama we Yakalibala Martin ne Narweiso Saala. Ate nabo balina enkokoto ezaabwe. Kati enkokoto ezimu foundation ezimu ng'emisingi girimu ebiraka. Kati taata we yalokoka musingi n'aguteekamu Yesu. Kati enkokoto n'enywera gujjo. Kati nze Esther Solome nina enkokoto ya Kalibala teyafa Elisa Zakayo ne Grace Nabuliye Ladi Musokomu bwati. Ate mulimu ne Jaji kwegamba enkokoto erimu ebintu. Enkokoto erimu ebintu. Kati enkokoto nze okugjayo ekyo ekintu kya Jaji nzigyeyo obukulembeze bonna nkukumbe nabwo nga nina okuteekamu Yesu. Yesu tugenda kumuteekamu naye Yesu alina obuweereza obutaano. Tata wange alinako kya mukadde wa kkanisa. Kati omukadde w'ekkanisa yettaga pastor, yettaga apostle, yettaga prophet, yettaga teacher, yettaga evangelist. Abo nga bali they are called in those areas. Tata wange can teach, trust me. Nga yetandisa kutomesa gwe tojja kusomesa ogenda kufuuka wabigere joke around. Tata wange yali Sunday school teacher. MTM toje jigumize ekibira. Ewaffe tutandikire nno mu baana abato. Gwe tukutuukirako ng'oli mukulu kasita tukukwatako ng'oli muto ate omukulu tuba tumwagaza ki. Tuba tumuwadde foundation. Omwana ye foundation. Omukulu si ye foundation. Gaalimaji agakokolima gaalimaji yani oyo si ye Buddo. Buddo King's College ye gakokolima gaalimaji oba. Gayaza yani. Neskokolima gaalimaji ye gayaza. Kachikebere wano baggo tuyagala kuzira. Manyi temujja mu kiraasi mwekwasa mbu temine internet. Jangu wano manalo. gayaza ai nanti ze sije nasomera nze nasomere eri egundi Mengo Senior School eri tugamba akwanakira ayomba era bwe bafaanana mwana tunempisa zaabwe akukwana ate ayomba naawe n'obabuuza kiki kyoyagala ozanyisa ekiriba ng'atakirye omwana omwagala baby omwana mugambe nti wakitegedde Esther Solome nkubye Esther Solome akugamba mwana ndeka nina omusajja noonya levo z'omwana ebyo kitegedde kitu ekityo. Okay, tukabira wano Kayasa High School Public Secondary School. Never give up. Ye motto ya Gayaza High nti never give up. Sister School of Gayaza Junior School. Nedda this is Gayaza Junior. Nagambye Gayaza High. Gayaza High. Okay, tugende maso. Anti Junior yevaamu bali. Agambye nti Gayaza High School is the oldest all girls boarding secondary school covering grades 8 to 13. Secondary 1 to 6. Anti masomero g'abakabaka. Kati Gayaza High yemu ku masomero agasooka ag'abawala. Okitegedde. Emmengo yali y'abalenzi. It is men then go. Naye mwe mukigatta nti Mmengo mbu kabaka Emmengo. Ekigambo kiri men go. Okitegedde. The men go. Okitegedde. Good. Covering grades, The school is the oldest all-girls boarding secondary school covering grades 8 to 13, secondary 1 to 6 in Uganda. The school is church-founded, government-aided. Oyina okumanya omusingi gw'essomero muwasomera gojja ozunga. N'agantu golumala ng'omwana bamugobanga oyomba. Abazadde temututama. Temututama. Mwana gy'omututta essomero si lya kitaawo. Learn the rules and regulations in the place. When my mother took me at Caltech, omusajja yagamba, munnange wano tetulunda abaana abakulu. Okitegedde. Mama n'akitegeera nange omwana n'ekitegeera n'ekitegeeza tukyali kitegeeza. Esther Solome alina kwekomako ye mukulu, she can do anything she wants. Era abaana abasinga bwe twasoma nabo abanywa sigala nga bamwenywera, abatayagala kusoma ne bakuba entuli nga bagikuba, abanywa omwenge ne banywa, abawala abeebaka n'abalenzi ne beebaka nabo ne bagenda mu buholo bwabwe oyo eri busooshi si kyoki usha nedda sooshi sooki usha yali Mmengo ne bagenda ng'eyo. Nze lunaku lwe nasooka okugenda mu sooki nasangayo abalwala nga ntya nayo nga opposite them waliwo hostel y'abawala wansi. Abawala ba wansi nga basala ne bagenda eri waggulu ne bakyekola mwana. Tetulaba kukula mwana. Ffe twakola byakabi byereere. Kati nga essomero nentegeera dynamics z'essomero. Nvudde Mmengo twambala uniform tukola ebibuuzo every Saturday. Ngenze ku Caltech. Ate yo bayina endongo sabula mwana. Emmengo twabeeranga mu MDD. Ogenda okutegeera endongo sabula mwana. Lwe tunaabeera ne MDD Careers Day, Sports Day, ebyo nga bigenda okuleeta endongo tusabule mwana tuseke tugweri. Caltech buli Saturday twabeeranga mu sabula silk style. Tobi manyi. Netukayo ne ngamba kiki kino kyenguddeko nze omwana w'abendi, omwana eyalokoka, ntamanyi kiraabu. Bamulesi ate akasomero katono bwe kati. Kati of course wemba sibyagala nja kugenda eka. Nate nga nyumirwa nnyo okutunula, that was the other part. Lwaki mu family mwenva mulimu abantu abakubi ba dance. Dance tumutegeera. Ebbaala tugenda, totuzanyisa ffe. Kati ne ngamba kati ene opportunity okutegeera ekintu kyonna bwe kikola kubanga eri ewaka sobola kuddukako ne ngenda mu bbaala ndowooza otulaba tuba tutunula otulaba. Kubanga bw'obeera eka onoogenda otya taata ogenda mugamba ovaawa mu overnight. Nze ebyokulimba byannema. Nze nnimba kitange nti nva mu overnight nga nva mu gavana. Akamotoka bwe kankuba. Ndeka I always had that in mind. Nga ngamba ngende mu gavana. Bagende balwane bakanyuga eccupa. Egende ekubenze. Banteeke mawulire. Kati imagine bagenda kunoonyereza kitange baleke bateekemu erinnya lya kitange. Because I was wondering what kitata yagano tuwamanya. Bagende bateekemu mbonte yafa. Bamukubye eccupa mu bbaala nga balwanira omusajja. Gwekwata ye yalwanye, you can imagine. That is the bad thing about the devil. Okitegedde. Ongende mbere court of God in the wrong place. Ningamba munange bala awanyo waawo sigenda kuweereza Mukama nze nayimbanga kwase nze abaana b'emmengo bonna bammanyi lwakwa kati banneerabira bwe batyo kubanga oli gwe baalaba si yoono kati munnange nayimbanga ku assembly ensi n'ensi n'endaba mengo ereeta si yonna bagiyita nsi yaleeta tobimanyi kati bagambye nti no moto ya Gayaza ye never give up. It's an Anglican affiliated. It is 117 years. As per now, it was started in 1905. The sister schools, Gayaza High, King's College, Budo, Namiryango College, St. Mary's College, Subi, Trinity College, Nabingo, Navisonsa Girls Schools, Mount St. Mary's, Namagunga, Headmistress, Kizito Robina Katongole, gender exclusively female, number of students 1,278, November 2019. Houses, they have Kobe, Cox, Ham, and Apollo. Hishtonshun, monde kesinze naleeta oluzungu. Hutchison, bakyogera batya Hutchison, tukireke nga bwekiri Kennedy, kiva e Bulaaya, Rhoda, Nsibambi, Shabin, Mount Mary Stewart. Omanyi Makerere has Mary Stewart too. Colors, they have red and white. Athletics, major sports, bazanya cricket, track and field, swimming, basketball, netball, volleyball, lawn tennis, golf, table tennis, hockey, badminton, lacrosse, and fencing. Nickname, Giza, GHS, Gishoko, Gayaza High, Gayaza Giza, publication, Kaleidoscope, Alumni Gayaza Old Schools Association, Goga. Website, yes, that is Gayaza. Kati tutekemu King's College buto. King's College buto yeyina gachali mabaga bakozesanga engero z'Oluganda. Amasomero ga Kabaka gonna bwe gatyo. Mengo is a Kabaka school because it was supposed to be for kings. Good, okitegedde sagala kireko. But the girls would go to Gayaza. Back in that day, abawala tebasomanga. Mwana tu bazadde baffe tubagala nnyo naye temwasoma. Abaana b'abanene bokka be basoma. Bw'aba muzadde teyali munene ng'ojja giwulira. Abaffe Mr. Kazibu bamutadde dda ku website oba ndaba bubi. Yeye oba si yeye. Message from the chairperson. A message from the headmaster. Chaka King's College Budo. Omukulukazi bwe yatuwadde ddaka message njaka wasomerula kansoke nkayitemu mwannaatu. So Gayaza gye bayita Budo gye bayita gakyali mabaga. Olina okumanya dynamics, olina okusoma environment, oleme kubonaabona nnyo. Katonda yakuyita. Okimanyi nti n'amasomero g'ogendamu Katonda yagatulondera. Agwo walonda because omwana teyayita bulungi ate n'omuforcing ogenda mu kisomero somere. Taata olw'okuba naawe gye wasomera tubonyeebonye ffe. Abaana abamu basomye ebintu naye nga tebabyagala nga byabakadde baabwe. Kyekyo lwaki olaba abamu bali mu ndongo, bali awo, bali just awo. Naye abayimbi kambabuzo kye kyabagaana okusoma. Esther munange mama nga talina ssente kati nengenda nenjiya. Waliwo abayimbi bemmanyi. Nge opportunity y'okusoma yaliwo. Ne mutasoma kati mutufuukira ekisibo. Okusomako kirungi bambi bw'oba tosomangako njagala ogendeko osome mu class kubanga temwafuna opportunity to learn how to work with people. Your human resource is very poor. Your interaction is very poor. You think you'll get everything you want by stepping on others. Because gye wakulira, that is how it is. Ate ekirala watoba nnyo obulamu bwo. You've worked so hard. No one can step in your work. Let me tell you something. Don't come to the public wing. Stay in the private wing. But if you have anything and you need people, I want you to change your character. Because in the season, he's demoting every giant. The season is for generals that are trained in the wilderness. Don't you ever call yourself a general when your character is for a giant. Generals respect people. Generals raise other people. Generals use their own grounds to lift others. Generals pocket their insecurities to raise other people, says Apostle Moses. The generals I know are very humble. They use their backs for you to stand on and others see you. They use their platforms to take you to the next level. That is life of a general. And they're only trained in the wilderness. They allow God to take them to a higher level through training. Generals don't use others to get what they want. In such a season that is so bad, I don't expect a general to be making us pay for their services when people don't have money. That is done by giants and bosses. But leaders, let me hope you attended the call, the cry of Karamoja, our giants. Good. That our so-called celebrities, our so-called the rich, our so-called MPs, let me hope you put on hold your political fights that are so weak and we go to Karamoja and feed people. We need to go to Kasese. Things are bad. I told you, I warned you the season is bad. Landslides are like landslides. Quarries are burying people. Accidents are like accidents. And you're busy shouting. Mbukati tugende mu airline yetu gimenyewo. Buli kimu Museveni kyakoze mu. Olina obwongo obunafu. Kati gwe bonafu ka president ogenda atandikira nga buli kimu okimenye. Mbuba nakyemalira. Olina obwongo obunafu. Eddembe ly'olina. N'oteeka ku internet okuvuma abantu. Mukwano, temutuleetako nnaku yammwe. Mwasomera ku government sponsorship. Essente zibatwala abroad, zivamu ffe abawiba omusolo. Africa, you need to change. You need some polishing. You hate progress. Instead of shouting with a man, he's the president of the moment. You cannot change that. You want change? Change starts with you. And if you don't change, change will change you. As simple as that. You cannot demand for change when you yourself, you're not changed. We are not going to put the wineskin, the wine in an old wineskin that is torn. We need men and women who have oil in their lamp. And oil that is pure. Second Corinthians chapter 2. But I made up my mind not to grieve you with another painful visit. For if I cause you grief by a well-deserved rebuke, who then provides me enjoyment but the very one whom I have made sad? For if I cause you grief by a well-deserved rebuke, who then provides me enjoyment but the very one whom I have made sad? Verse 3. And I wrote the same thing to you, so that when I came, I would not be filled with sorrow by those who ought to make me glad. For I trusted in you and felt confident that my joy would be shared by all of you. Verses 4. For I wrote to you out of great distress and with an anguished heart and with many tears, not to cause you sorrow, but to make you realize the overflowing love which I have especially for you. Verse 5. But if someone has caused all this sorrow, he has caused it not to me, but in some degree not to put it to. Sorry. Verse 5. But if someone has caused all this sorrow, he has caused it not to me, but in some degree, not to put it too severely. He has distressed and grieved all of you. Verse 6, for such a one thing, punishment by the majority is sufficient. Verse 7, so instead of further rebuke now, you should rather graciously forgive and comfort and encourage him, to keep him from being overwhelmed by excessive sorrow. Verses 8, therefore I urge you to reinstate him in your affections and affirm your love for him. When someone does something wrong, rebuke, thank you, but do it in love. Love the person. Don't pretend and ignore. There are groups I sit at where we used to joke like crazy. Now they don't joke with me. They go to another group and post things that side. Eno ne basigala kundaba ne mbuuza mukola ki wano. Luli baavangako. Baavangako ne bagenda. N'obabuuza kati mukola ki wano. Why do you live a pretentious lifestyle? Why are you being a hypocrite? Why are you being a hippopotamus? N'obasiriikirira n'obatunya kati tulinayo bano omuntu waabwe gwe baagala apostinga ekintu ne bajja ne bakomentinga ku kyoyo gwe baagala. Neesirikira ne ngamba, if you don't want to comment on anything, just don't comment. Don't make other people feel so bad for posting anything. Kati abantu abasinga batya n'okupostinga. Oli n'akulaga omukulembeze ovanga gwe kuba kulembeze. Ye n'apostinga ekintu gurupu ye mutegeere mumanyi olwokuba bava mu kakanisa ke kamu ne bajja ne bakomentinga kati gwe atava mu kanisa yaabwe ne weesootinga. Kyokka Bayibuli egamba he's coming back to take a church that has no wrinkle or spot. And in my mind I'm like, when are we going to understand that we are all church members? Why do you separate us all the time? I know I don't belong to your club. Trust me, I'm a redeemed. Of which right now I don't know. They threw me off the bus. Naye nte naakola ki yeeyo gye taata wange bwe yadduka bwe yava eri bwe yadduka yagweyo. That is my mother. Oba njagala saagala mama wange nina kumwagala. Kati ebbeere takyampa bbeere. Yasalawo ddigabira abalala. Kati ne ngamba kangendeeyo munnange obutebunjo bunnyonsi. Anti mama wo bw'afa nga takuyonsezza ng'ogendanga nga weeyiiya. Ng'onywa amata g'eŋŋamira. Eno season kyembaddeko. I expected my mother, the church, to breastfeed me, to treat me like any other person. Baatugamba batuteereddeyo group ya diaspora batusabire. Bangoba. Mbu nteekayo ebintu mbu neyo group nto. Ngenda okutunuulira bibagamba nti bato. Kwawujumula. Nga kujjudde abasumba. Abaami n'abakyala abammanyi. Abatambudde ne kitange. Abalereddwa mmange. Nengamba estofaki. Levo y'okuyonka wagivaako dda. Yesu Katonda mwene gy'ali. Ate n'ekirala taata we ye yadduka mu kkanisa kati guma kikulye. Anti taata yakola yasalawo ebibi. Ate kasita odduka ate oba okyali part of the team oba tokyali. To man's ideas, you're no longer a teammate. But to God, Katonda bw'akuyita. Mugwano, Katonda bw'akuyita, they have no choice. Kati kiri erinza okutereera mu line. Dano okujja okaabira amata agayiisi. Nze lwaki mbiddamu mbikugamba ogenda kubiyitamu naye toddukanga. Eriyo ababiyiseemu ne baweta, ne bava ne ku Mukama, ne bagamba Yesu nnabakyono. Nze Esther Solome sobola kudduka tebakulimba. Nze Miracle Center Cathedral Sunday School Church bwe yambalula. Pastor nga tasobola kwogera nange direct nga atuma abaana. Abaana ne bangoba mu groups, don't joke around. Yakozesa baana okungoba. Ekifo kyange ne bakigaba ye yakinteekamu. Ye yampita okutandika okuweereza mu Sunday School nze saabiriimu. ne mugamba Mukama tannayogera naŋŋamba oyagala ayogera emirindi emeka kati gwayogera naye I know how God speaks. Waliwo ebintu bye seebuzaabuza. Nze ogenda ku Miracle Center yali Katonda, teyali mwana wa muntu. But God uses people. Why? We are the temple. Ne bangoba engeri gye bakugoba mu mulimu gwa Mukama ojja kutya kigenda kutuukako. Kigenda kutuukako. Abaana b'abantu amaaso be babagajja ku bintu bya Katonda ne batandika okubiteeka ku material things. Sitaani ayingira baalya ku bumere bwa Jezebel. Ayagala abakulembeze nga bw'okiwulira. Jezebel agenda kutambulira in anyone. Agenda kukwata akulima empindi gy'otali. Jezebel yatuula mu Uganda n'enkulabira fire. Natula mu bantu benjagadde ne banjagala bwe tutambudde nga tetulina Katonda n'abaggulira enzigi. Ate nga bwe tuddayo wansi eri ne tukikebera. Katonda did it for them because they walked with me. Because I carry what it takes. Mukwano, gwe kankuyambe. That is my assignment. I cannot run away from it. And God has given me the courage to carry my portion of the assignment. He elevated it from a local level to an international ground. When I obey, it goes to a global level. Level kwendi eri global, my dear. Sikyali ku local. Katonda wa connecting anga ku mwana. Oba maama oba taata omusajja oba omukazi. Ask who they are. Where do they come from? What's in their lineage? Waliwo ebintu nga bimu bibba mu physical, mu spiritual abantu babisigaza. Yusufu tebaamanya nti yasigaza ekintu. Ne beegobera ekisumuluzo. Uganda, you've lived Yusuf's life and everything the way you want. Ne mwegobera ekisumuluzo ekiggulawo. Lwaki nnina kiri global? I carry the king's blood in the physical. And God asked me to allow him use that ground. Because I wasn't going to. I wasn't ready for it. Because erimu amaziga mangi. Erimu eddogo lingi. Now I needed to choose between man and God. Because it's only God who can protect me. And I'm able to move beyond. If I was able to pass the 36. Because nali sigenda kuyitawo. Ako kali kaguwa. Ate sitaani n'andaga nti ekinzita kiva mu kkanisa. Anti gye twaddukira. Gye woddukira ye wali ekinaakutta. Mu kanisa. Bano abatamanyi Yesu ne bakuba ebyo nabimanyiira. Ebyo tebindya. Gy'oddukira ye yali essasa erigenda okukuba. Ebyo bino bano abatali balokole. Naawe ndeka. Abo twabamanyiira bali ba mmere. Baliwo okujubisa bali ba mmere. Mukwano. Abo they are the last on my list, please. The last on my list. Don't joke. Those ones. Bakapere. They are the last on my list. Bwemba noonya n'abantu ne ku listi kati beedimotinga bokka ne beetwala eri wansi ka listi ka wansi. Okitegedde. Beedimotinga, please. They demoted themselves when they wanted. Naye ate balina abaana. Era bw'anaafuna ekizibu kigenda muyinza nga bakyali be tebasobola muyamba. Era bagenda kiweereza nze era annyimirire mu kiri as usual. Ate kituli bwe naaba nkiyimiriramu looza ngenda kiyimiriramu nga luli. Kati ate bwe nkiyimiriramu level kwe nkiyimirira kate endala nnyo. Okitegedde. Good. Mweyambe nga bukyali. Mukwano, kalevo ko ako kalevo nakakulekera luli nali nkuyamba buyambi okumaintainingira awo. Ne nagenda okulaba nga kansembya. Tayinza kubeera ku level ya president. N'ozanyazanya ne buno obunankani. Babuyita batya? Robert Junior yansesa. Amanyi tula mu kirasi zammwe n'enseka n'engweri. Nze golaba nze kirasi zammwe zinnyambye nnyo. Tula mu kirasi eyo ne ngamba good. Nendyoka nteeka mu nkola bye musomesa. Nendyoka mbayitako nze kennyini neepita ku basomesa nga nkola nti. Ekimpisa ku basomesa kiki? Because I carry something they don't carry. And if I play around, I am the loser. I'll not wait, Bagamat, don't wait for Kalameja to develop. Chechuracho njale ebaluma. Abe Kampala bayina mentality, don't wait for Karameja to develop. And other parts are being developed in a Karameja sigale emabega. They don't care. Abasajja bakulembeze gwe bayise leader, they have a heart for everyone. I would expect Kampala to run so fast to the cry of Karamoja, especially the so-called leaders. Naye ne babeegayirira, tubeegayirira ku ddiiru ki? Muleke eyo Katonda gwe twakkiriza mwana ttasa. Katonda akola ebyekisa. Omuzungu ajja liisa Kalamoja Uganda muviiremu awo, watch and see. Esther, sente ezo nga tezunnaziraba. Kwegamba gw'oli awo balaani aleese sente. Wakasaako mmeka. Omanyi munneewuunyisa. Genda olime lubimbi lwo ekikukwasa mu lwange kyekyaki. Genda olime lubimbi lwo. Luli olubimbi lulwo. Bw'onoogaana, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. Katonda yatugamba tukolere wamu. Evangelical house bwegamba nti abange nga tudduka. Apostolic house bwegamba abange eno season bwe kirina okuba. Obuweereza obutaano bulina kukolaganira wamu. Mutuuse okolaganira wamu naye olw'okuba temuyina nkolagana, okolaganira wamu tekusoboka. Pastor w'e Kampala yanyigira ow'omukyalo. They fail to forgive one another. Put your insecurities on the side. I expect all TVs naddala TVs ezimanyi Mukama to run that project ya Karamoja. Bwena gwanga tukwate y'abapooso nga naye tugitambuza kintu kitono nnyo naye tusibye Katonda lwa bumulumulu. Olwokuba soogera na Ssenyonga tajja kunteeka ku TV, olwokuba soogera na Kayanja tajja kunteeka ku Channel 44, olwokuba soogera na Kiwewe tajja kunteeka ku Rest TV, olwokuba soogera na Kiganda tajja kunteeka ku Kingdom, olwokuba soogera na Seroda tajja kunteeka ku Dream, olwokuba soogera na Watoto tajja kunteeka ku Impact, ku Power. Olwokuba soogera na Bujingo tajja kunteeka ku Soloti. Olwokuba soogera na Bunjo, even intelligence abyesigaliremu. Bannange. Kati Katonda gwe mwakkiriza yaliwa. Kati abakadde omulimu gwe beekozeemu banoonyeza bakadde bannaabwe nga bwe beetegeera mbunnu. N'otunula ne weewuunya ffe endiga ne mutuleka nga temutulekedde waakumaakinga. Ekikyasinza otukubya baweereza ba Mukama. The church, you have the power over Uganda. You have the soldiers. The concept of the army came from the Bible, you don't read. There are 5 arms. In the US, the Space Force has just been introduced. It's not very old. And that is the bishop. You play chess? Do you play chess? Why do they use a bishop and the king and the queen and the pawns? Have you ever bothered to find out why that game is like that? You don't know. But you play chess, right? Chess is a game of the head. It's called a board game. Do you have a board? The Lord poured the board, the game. You're supposed to go back. The game was poured. You're supposed to go back to the ground and scratch again. '77 is not the revival the Lord promised Uganda. Your revival is going to hit Africa. It's going to hit the US. The way you see COVID, that is the revival that is coming out of Uganda. But you guys are still playing around. You don't want to obey the instructions. You're doing your own things. It's not a one-man show. '77 was just a preparation thing. Your preparation started in 2010, and you never paid attention, Uganda. 2010 was a year for preparation. Then you delayed. Things changed. 2016 came. Preparations went back afresh, but you never paid attention because you don't obey rules and regulations. Things changed in 2016 on a big level, but you never paid attention at all. 77 came for you to learn to use mobile money and pay tithe online. 77 came to teach you that you can sit in another country and they pray for you and things work without you going to the ground. But we have a mindset. I need to get to the past and they touch me. He touched me. Oh, he touched me. And oh, the joy. Something happened and now I know he touched me and made me whole. He touched me. Oh, he touched me. The board game changed long time ago, but we are still not waking up because everyone has their thing. Pastor Robert has 77. Pastor Senyonga has P5. Now Apostle Wunjo has what? Wounded soldier. Who else has something? Well, Worship Harvester has Transformation. Fanero has Manifest. Zoe, Prophet Omawati. These others just bring seasonal things. Conference, every year we have a conference. Watoto has its own thing. Kegamba nenewunya nengambo wa Yesu twamugabana. Where Dr. Serwada has combat. Pastor Saka has generally. Tugenze no mu generali. Ekinewunyisa tugenda mu generali naye ma ba generals batendeka ogweri notya bo tebakyuka abasinga. Lwaki? Because bagenzeyo kuwona bizibu. Tuine wa Pastor Tom. Tunulira basumba ba Pastor Tom nenewunya. Kubanga abasinga kasita bawona ebyabatwalayo. Ate bayononeka boononesi mwana ato. Bayingiramu amalala anti abasinga bajjayo ng'ennaku yabakuba. Nakugamba bw'onsanganga wano, I'm not 37. Kati olwo mba nnyingidde mu assignment yange. which is very hard because abasumba tebabagambako. Kati gwandaba obulabi n'olyoka obuuza ne mbatunuulira ne mbasaasira. My dad did that in his times. And in his times are not our times. Our times are tougher than his time. He ran away. And we paid for the consequences for over 20 years because of daddy running away. And in 2004, the Lord said, I take over. That's when I started wearing his shoes. It's 18 years now. Basically, ekyobukadde bw'ekkanisa. Training ya myaka 18. Nga 7 December 2021, it was officially confirmed. Olinda bantekako emikono. Linda mukwano. Nga tebannagyensimba, Katonda mwene yasooka. Engeri nti golowooza okufuuka omukadde w'ekkanisa kwe kuleeta ekimu eky'ekkumi ekinene. Kwe kubeera mbunno kati gw'oludde mu kintu owedde. Ndaba eyo abantu nga bayita ba Bishop ne mbuuza Bishop si. Bishop owalankasa nti tulina abalankasa. Oba Bishop Katonda gwe yeerondedde. That is not how you transfer from being a pastor to a bishop. No. Man can qualify you, but when man qualifies you, wait for demotion. And when he demotes you, he cannot take you back. I wrote a message about demotion. You have it in your things. We apologize that for us the things we have in my father's house were initiated by God. They were not initiated by man. That's why man has never qualified us anywhere. To man, we don't qualify. My friends have demoted me in an amazing way. Church demoted me. My family demoted me. My part was to trust in the Lord, wait upon the Lord, listen to what God says, obey every bit of it. Then I walk systematically, bypass every demoter, back to my position. Verse 8, therefore I urge you to reinstate him in your affections and reaffirm your love for him. Verses 9, for this was my purpose in writing, so to see if you would stand the test, whether you are obedient and committed to following my instruction in all things. Verse 10, if you forgive anyone anything, let me read that. If you forgive anyone anything, I too forgive that one. And what I have forgiven, if I have forgiven anything, has been for your sake, in the presence of and with the approval of Christ. Can I read that again? If you forgive anyone anything. My friends were like, ate lwaki obeesibako? Esther abatakwagala ate obaagaza ki? Abakulinyiridde bwe batyo. Esther kwa kwegula. Those are words from people. They love me, yes, but that's how they do their thing. But I have to sit and understand the situation and the season. I need to understand who I am before I put in action what man is saying. Who is my boss? Who is my instructor? I work for God. I don't work for man. Man did not value me. He preserved me for himself. He said that word through Andrew Chisaka in 2013 on the 26th of September. I can confirm it. It was a Saturday. I went to meet him before my surgery because I did not want to die on the operation table. I needed to be sure of what I'm doing exactly. Because if I was going to die there, I wasn't going for surgery. Why should I go and die there? I first consulted the Lord, please. On the 24th of September, I went to see Pastor Victor, Dr. Isaac Chituka, pastor. Then on the 26th, they stole us. Then on the 28th, actually, that's when I went to see Andrew Chisaka. And on 1st of October, I went to hospital. And 2nd October, it was a Wednesday, I went into the surgery room. And in 2010, I dreamt when the whole world is heat. And I was only seeing smoke. And when it was heat, I could not see anything. I was seated on the ground, and everything I could see was black and smoke. And I was alone. And I was heat also. Then I saw 2 old men give me hands. Tata used to buy Bible comic books. And I had read the Bible, I had read the comic books. And those 2 old men looked like Elijah and Moses. I was able to relate. But now I misinterpreted the thing. At the time I was in a relationship. After getting that dream, over the weekend on Sunday, in November, I remember the date because it was after 17th November. I was sent a message and I was told, I am not ready. I was in my mother's bedroom cleaning. And the person sends a message, I am not ready. Then we argued, I was like, what do you mean you're not ready? Can we talk about it? What did I do? Now I'm very fast and I write a lot. I'm not detailed. My friend was writing one word. Then agenda okulaba nga gwayogera naye sibitegeera. Nangamba, you will thank me one day for making this decision. I was like, then I told him I will wait. You said you're not ready. I will wait for you. No matter what it takes, I will wait. I stopped texting and I put my phone down. I had a rushing thing in my tummy. It rushed and went and hit my heart. What brought tears is when my mother called me to talk to me. Because she noticed. She's my mother. She noticed. And she was telling me something in front of my siblings. There was another lady called Mulongo. I burst out and cried out of the blue. And I told Mama, next time when you're talking to me, counseling me, never do it in front of my siblings. You don't know what it means for someone to break your heart. I told her, because for you, my dad asked for your hand in marriage. You don't know what it means to have a heartbreak. Everyone looked at me. I cried. Mama kept quiet. because she knew if she adds a word, I'm going to leave the house. She tried to comfort me, but it was too late at a time. That is when I opened the door, when I answered Mama back like that. That is when I opened the door and the devil walked in. I lost weight. I could not eat. I did not understand. What made it worse is when my friends started posting pictures. And I went for a particular wedding. And my friend brings his current wife. I am a very sensitive person. I study the environment. I can tell who is moving out with who without them telling me. I find this young girl wearing specs like me. He gives her his jacket, his phone. I could not eat at that wedding. I almost died at that wedding. And I was an usher. I was smartly dressed. I wore an attire my aunt in the UK sent me. When I walked Nganduamba Dembantu, I looked responsible. I went to the bathroom and cried. Came back, I could not eat. My prayer was, when is the wedding ending? They called us the committee, organizing committee. I went. But nganekaza wekaza. Ngandaba ensi yonna endaba naswadde dda. People were doing their own things. They didn't even know what was going on with me. It was only one person who understood what was going on. But I had to pocket my insecurities and let Zamgole enjoy his wedding because he was marrying a girl who is my mother. And the boy is my grandfather. Like, my grandmother comes from the Lugave clan. Then the girl was coming from my mother's clan. And I love them so much. So I had to put the love, and it covers my wound. I've done that several times. Everything we did, Mia was in a rushing mode. And when they said the wedding is done, we pick presents and take them to the car. I asked for keys and got the present, and I went to the car and never came back. I burst out and cried. I locked the doors, put up the windows, and burst out and cried. Then I called a friend called Rogers Lumala. Those are men that have raised me through Mengo, through the Scripture Union. I called Lumala because you have to have such people in your life. I thank God for the people God allowed me to meet. Rogers Lumala, I met him in primary school. He was the head boy at a time. When I was in first year, in S1, he was in S3. So he was 3 years ahead of me. So if he was 3 years ahead of me, when he was in primary 7, 6, 5, I was in primary 4. That's the first time I saw an HP who does not wear shoes. And I'm like, how can you become an HP when you don't even have shoes? He was always smart and very strict and principled. Then I met him again in Mengo Senior School. I'm like, my goodness. Now in Mengo, he was the prayer secretary, Scripture Union. That young man never played with God. That man executed his assignment very well. He works with URA now. He's into IT. Rogers can pray. I called Rogers. And he asked me, Esther, what's wrong? I told him the problem. Rogers prayed for me and the Lord calmed me down. Rogers comforted me. I could not hide because I knew when I hide, I would become something else. I decided to expose myself, stay around people, until I heal completely. Girls out there, when a relationship ends, don't kill yourself. It's not the end of the road. Ask the Lord, was that your man? What I did is to keep around the circles so that I can heal faster. Because if you hide, the next time you meet the person, you're going to die. Until when I came to the US, I understood why I met the person. It was never about the relationship. I met that person because the Lord wanted to do stuff in their lives. A person studied with some of my relatives. Then me, I went to the same school with his brother, but his brother was classes ahead of me. So basically, we had already met. But the Lord never wanted to use the other people he met, or I met, to get to the person. That's not how God wanted it. The Lord wanted me to meet his mother, because there were things in their family that the Lord wanted to deal with. Because I carry things they don't carry. The Lord gave me his children in an amazing way. When I'm not even informed, the Lord informed me about his children. The way God gave Pastor Victor James Ruwama, he's responsible for my going ahead. Now, if he's a selfish man, but still, if he doesn't do his assignment, he's the one who will lose. I will not lose, he loses. When God calls you, you're the one who loses. Now, if I don't do what the Lord told me to do in different people's lives, I am the one who's going to lose. It's not them. Because if I refuse, the Lord puts another person there to do what they have to do. But still, we are going to alter God's plan. And that is going to be on my account. Hope we understand each other. I want you to ask the Lord why you meet different people. Those who are struggling in your relationships, weesibye ku musajja, njagala osookodde emabega nga temunnayingira na byakwagala divorce, kanze kambayambe. Buuza, was this meant to be? Yes, yakoladde endagaano, I know. Naye season Mukama yabagamba endagaano z'ataakola agenda kuzimenya. Kyo saagala tukirweko. Kati waba tennakikugamba gwamanyi. Mulinda akikugambe, please. Buli ndagaano gy'ataakola oba erimu abaana baterimu agenda kugimenya. Naye jjukira ssebo, bwe mwawukana n'omukyalo oyo yina abaana. Abo abaana mutemwagu. Me, I never told you to cohabit. Kati mwaba tannafumbira ozunga n'omusajja eyo, buuza Mukama. Because ekigambo virginity kibali wala nnyo. This is my assignment, not your assignment. How you see things is not how I see things. I don't see things according to how you see. I do things according to how God sees. For you, if you think I'm still attached to the man, you will be surprised. If you think I'm not yet delivered, oli kukafu. Mukwano, I understood the assignment. If I was able to go in another relationship in 2013, I went in another relationship in 2016. What makes you think that I still want the man? It is 2011 and 2012 that almost killed me because of him. those 2 years, I was going to give myself up. I'll be having children. Those are the only 2 years that I held on to, waiting for him to make up his mind. He counted 5 years in his relationship with the wife, and I was in there. I was able to go for the wedding. I went to that wedding as a service provider and a friend. Many people saw me at that wedding. Some knew what was going on, some did not know. I made sure I'm smart. I wore a navy blue dress. I love navy blue. I had cut weight. People did not know why I had cut weight. There are few who knew and understood. Because I was sick, that was the other thing besides cutting weight. I was sick. I was struggling with my poor health. Then with a heartbreak. And that day helped me to let go completely. I accepted that I'm a loser. But in the eyes of God, I won. Why? It was not meant to be like that. It was an assignment. I had to stay in there for him to be able to find his rib. Because I carry the anointing of marriages. I carry the anointing of people giving birth. I have the keys. I pocket my insecurities and you get what you're supposed to get. You are supposed to get it, but you need power. Ordinary, extraordinary power. And God has entrusted different people with that. When God connected me to Pastor Victor James Solome, he just came to preach. And you know how a pastor is living and you decide to stand in the way to talk to him. But he knew me already. But his time and me was not yet to have an encounter. And 1998 was the first encounter, face to face. And I've never looked back. How many years are those? Those are 26 years ago. My part was to do what God was saying. God is going to bring someone in your life. Don't read the letter wrong. Ask the Holy Spirit so that you don't lose out. I had what it takes for people to marry. I told God, I don't want to get married before he does. I want him to get married first. I prayed that prayer and it worked. Because I was like, when I get married, I don't want anyone to disturb me. Abasajja tebakyawa. Bw'oba okiwakanyaamu tayipingaawo. I told God, please let him marry. I told God that in 2012. When I was getting delivered slowly. I told God, let him marry before I do. The one of 2013, I ended it. Because I was not understanding. They first chucked me. Then came back. I chucked once, came back. Then I fell sick in 2016. that is the door that closed it. And the one who came in 2016 was just a thief.